welcome to the British Columbia Real Estate Podcast. It's me, Ricky J, with Jeff Chadha, JC Homes, episode number 15. We're doing this one a little different outside the office today. Jeff's busy doing showings, and we were luckily able to catch him at the right time. So how are you doing there, Jeff?
Oh, swamp busy. I just actually pulled over, so we can actually do this.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Glad to know you're not driving. Now, everyone, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe like we always say here at the British Columbia Real Estate Podcast channel. If you want to learn all about living in British Columbia and also anything having to do with real estate as well, if you're thinking about moving anywhere in and or around British Columbia, definitely give us a call. The number will be down below. Now, jumping right into this episode, Jeff, I won't take too much time of your busy schedule up today, but I'm not sure if you actually watched the news conference that was held by the Bank of Canada's governor, Tiff, Macklem, on Wednesday. Did you get a chance to check that out?
I did. I watched a bit of it.
Okay, yeah. So, you're obviously aware that it's a big hype around the possible mortgage rate hikes they've been talking about that might take place as soon as April next year, right in the first quarter. I wanted to know what your opinions are and how that could possibly affect the housing market here in Canada and British Columbia. Do you think, Jeff, that might even open up some more inventory in the future heading into the busy spring market? I want to know your thoughts about that.
Well, Rick, when interest rates rise, people automatically start worrying about, how much more monthly payments they're going to make, which is natural. I mean, if your interest rates rise, then you're going to want to know how much you're paying. Now, we've been blessed for a few years or a while right now that with low interest rates.
Yes.
Right. And no inventory. Well, we're at the market we're at right now.
Yes.
Now, to answer your question about what do I think will happen if rates were to increase, if that's your question, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, if rates were to increase, if we weren't dealing with low inventory and rates were to increase, then yeah, we would see a slowdown. It's quite natural. But the problem right now, Rick, is it's not even the mortgage rate. It's the inventory. We keep coming back to that.
Yes.
Like, if the interest rate were to rise, it has to be not just by like 1 point or 0.5. In my opinion, it has to be like 1.5 or 2 points, which will cause a significant difference in your mortgage payments to maybe slow down or put some water on this fire to slow down the market. But if the rates rise just a little bit, I still don't see a major slowdown until we get more inventory. Now, that might cause few people, and when I say few, we have, hundreds and hundreds of people, buyers out there.
Yes,
so we'll scale it down, but it will cause a few people to hold back a bit. You're always going to have those tire kickers, right? Yeah. And then you're always going to have those people who are just media slaves that's going to listen to whatever the media is telling them to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Now, if those people that are tire kickers and listen to the media, well, those are the ones that really suffered, I think, because they're waiting. Look how the market went.
Yes.
Right. And then, we had media saying that at one point prices are set to come down, then prices are rising, then prices are set to come down. So if you're a media slave, yeah, you're really confused of what's going to happen.
True. And so many people do fall into that.
They do. It's you can't blame them because you want to trust the media for their sources, but you got to remember they're there to sell paper.
That's right.
And catch headlines.
It is a business.
And the other thing is the media, they are not psychics, right? Yeah. They cannot 100% tell you this is going to happen, that's going to happen. The whole goal of the media is to report the news, right? Mm-hmm. Not to create it.
That's right. They would obviously persuade or somehow manipulate somebody's thought process. They're thinking about like, oh, hey, I'm going to buy a property maybe in the next couple of months. And then, interest rates are growing up. Maybe I need to buy it now. It could put that thought in their head.
Oh, definitely, right? Rick, without a doubt. It can definitely encourage someone to speed up their process or even discourage people for saying that, okay, well, maybe we should wait. The media said the prices might come down, interest is going to rise, so that might cause prices to come down. So they're waiting. So it could either cause people to speed up or to slow down.
It depends on what side of the fence you're on, right?
It is. And I know probably that's not the best solid answer, but in this market, there is really no 100% guarantee if the market is going to 100% come up and 100% come down. Are we at a very high price point? Well, yeah. Wasn't Vancouver just rated considered one of the most unaffordable cities to live in the world?
It's been like that for a while, hasn't it? Especially
It
in
has,
Canada.
but our numbers and our ranking has slowly kept on creeping up. Before, we were, we are a very expensive city to live in.
It is, definitely.
But now to get that title of most unaffordable city, I don't know, something to be proud about. Right? I mean, our the cost of living here and how much people make still hasn't caught up with our market.
That's right. And that's one of my questions later on as well. Now, during that press conference that was going on Wednesday, they were talking about inflation, which has also been a super hot topic as well. Canada hitting some of the highest inflation levels in about 2 decades or so, with the prices of gas, food, cost of living just skyrocketing, right? I believe the inflation rate right now is hit as high as 4.4%, I believe, and it's expected to go higher by the end of the year. Also, stacked on top of that with the supply chain issues all over the country, with shipping and all that. Where do you see that heading potentially? Do you see even going into next year? Do you think that they might be able to somehow calm this inflation down? I don't personally see it as coming down, but I want to know your opinion on that.
I think that's a loaded question, but there's a lot of answers I can give towards that, right? And there's a lot of other things that contribute to our economy or our real estate market being the way it's going to be. There's a lot of external factors, not just the mortgage rate, the population growth with immigrants coming in, buying homes, the people that we have here already that are on PR, that have been working to establish themselves and a life in Canada, they're also in the buying pool as well. Then we also got to look at the rental pool and see how much inflation has gone up in rentals. Yeah, and then huge. It comes to a point of, well, if I'm paying $2,000 a month for a basement suite, hypothetically, how much more is it for me to get into a property that I own? That's true. So I've always told people before that real estate is not, you shouldn't be looking at it at top down. You should be looking at it from bottom up, meaning look at the rental level first. If your rental, in my opinion, if rent is high, then prices probably will be higher. And if prices go higher, then it moves everything up, right? So from condos raising in prices, if condos raise up, and I think I've talked about this before, if someone had a condo at, hypothetically, if they're selling at 500, or let's be more realistic now, new townhouses or condos in Fraser Valley are pushing that 600 threshold. So if condos are now going to 600, then that townhouse person can say, well, why am I going to sell my townhouse at the price of a condo? I'm going to raise my price. Yep, that's right. And then you get the person who owns a house saying, well, why am I going to sell my house at the same price our townhouse is going for? I'm going to raise my price. Exactly. Right. So there's a lot of more external factors. Right? If you're getting back to the interest rate question here. Yeah. Interest rate will have an impact on our market, but the bigger thing here is that will it create more supply to slow down the market? That's the real thing here, is will this interest rate hike or supposed rate hike allow more inventory on the market? And it doesn't mean that houses will sell faster or new listings will come up. Sorry, I should say that. It's right now we're in multiple offers, left, right, center. We wrote an offer on a property in Ladner listed at 1.3 and it sold for, I think, for 1.7 with 29 offers. And even the realtor didn't even expect to get that many offers. Shoot, the realtor told us that the price probably won't go over 1.5. Oh, wow. Right. And so, and these buyers are going subject free. They're going big down payments. I mean, you might have saw the other article that just came out a little while ago talking about how in Vancouver, parents are now gifting their children with a down payment money. Oh, yeah. I did run across that. So one thing people have to remember, in British Columbia, especially the Lower Mainland, we have a lot of people down here that have money. It's not just foreign buyers. It's true. Right? And a lot of people down here before didn't necessarily spend money on themselves or not to say themselves, but on houses. They spent it on trips, gifts for themselves, cars, all these things. Three's a car show. Right? Vancouver. It used to be a joke we used to have. But now, with the whole COVID rule that came to play, focusing on internal rather than external, people started looking more in and started investing more into real estate and started investing more into their future, which is great. People should start doing that. Yeah. And also just like people flushing out more as
as well, like moving out more, like let's say moving out more towards Fraser Valley from Vancouver or whatever the case may be, they still have money, you know, they'd maybe pull equity out of other properties, or they just, you know, have a large lump sum that they had from selling their property as well, right?
Oh yeah, and Rick, we've talked about that I think in one of the earlier shows, that someone that had a property in Vancouver, they might have got it a long time ago for like even 600,000, and that property is now worth maybe 2 million. You know, they're not going to sell that property and go down the street.
Yeah,
right. They're going to sell that property and probably come to the Fraser Valley. Well, they'll still have a big chunk of it and still get a nice property.
Of course, yeah, and definitely have some land, right? Like to go with it as well.
Right.
Definitely.
So you have to look at the population growth and the density of the municipalities all around us.
That also ties in with the next question as well. Now, they feel, especially locally here, that they've been priced out of the market. You know, especially with the average annual salary in Vancouver and the Fraser Valley, it's pretty close to each other. It's around the 50,000 range annually, right? Now, considering that, and then, you know, stacked with inflation on top of that and cost of living and continuously rising, right? Do you think that will ever change, or will there be some kind of tipping point eventually, you know? The wages not increasing and then being priced out of the market. Do you think that they will ever be able to afford a property?
Okay. So, no, it's a really good question.
Yes.
And it's actually a very relevant question.
Yeah, it is. People ask it all the time.
It is, and the real answer here is, if it keeps going this way, if prices keep going up, then how much longer until the Lower Mainland becomes a ghost town?
Yeah, it's
right.
true.
You know, we're not looking out for today's living, but you know, maybe the future generation as well. How high can it go? And I think that's the real question here that a lot of people keep talking about, and they've been talking about this for ages and ages. That Vancouver and Toronto, you know, were set for a bubble first.
That's right.
Right now. Talking about that, do I think there's going to be a bubble burst? I don't think there's going to be no burst. Do I see it sizzling down a bit? Yeah, right. I mean, there has to be a point. I mean, you know, when that's going to happen, I'm not a psychic. I can't tell you exactly when that's going to happen.
There's so many people just waiting for some kind of like correction to happen. Like they're sitting on the sidelines, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen, or even if it does.
Well, I mean, it comes to the point of how long do you want to keep sitting on the sideline?
Exactly. And
right. I mean, if you've been, exactly, Rick. If you've been on the sideline for 3 years, well, look at the amount of rent you've been paying for the last 3 years, and look what you could have got into 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, forget about 3 years. If you just invested earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So will it eventually come down? I eventually do see it sizzling down, because there's only a certain limit that until the average person can say, you know what, I can't afford this, and it becomes a plateau, right? And it becomes stagnant. But when that actually happens, I'm not sure. We have a big boost in population happening, and with that, there's always aspirations of owning a home in Canada. You know, even if you're a first-time home buyer. Right? So you have the rental market and you get the first-time home buyer market. You know, they're going to start buying, and when they're buying a lot, the people who are selling their property, they're going to buy something most likely. And then you also got to think of the person that maybe has this property in Vancouver, got it for 600,000 and maybe selling it for 2 million. Well, they have a big amount of money there, so maybe they're not just buying one property, maybe they're buying two.
That's true. And at the same time, though, like the purchasing power, depending on where they're moving to, might be a little bit less as well, just because during COVID, Canada as a whole, like property has gone up, right? So I mean, it's not on par, but I mean, like your buying power will probably be a little bit less if you're trying to stay close to the Lower Mainland or within certain areas or pockets of the Lower Mainland, right? Because it's pretty expensive everywhere.
Definitely. I mean, well, now if you look at Chilliwack is caught on fire.
Yeah.
Right. We were just in Chilliwack just a few days ago. And looking at this property, we had to put our offer on, and that seller bought that property for $550, I believe, last year, and now they're selling it for $900.
Holy.
Yeah. And so with Chilliwack going higher, then you have your neighboring area, which is Hope. Hope is now jumped in pricing.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's right.
Yeah. Technically, the further away you go from Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, usually it is a little bit cheaper, but you also got to remember a few things here. That, for instance, like Abbotsford, Abbotsford. People who live in Abbotsford or people who live in Chilliwack really reside there. Their community is there. They work there, right, which causes the prices to be accordingly. Right. And now with the affordability aspect, not being in Vancouver, and now Surrey hitting those numbers, people start looking further east.
That's right.
So we see Abbotsford. I mean, we saw the boom in Langley already. Then you get Abbotsford. I mean, my prediction is, Surrey is probably going to be like the next Burnaby. Abbotsford is like the next Surrey.
Yeah.
Chilliwack is like the next Abbey. So I think Hope might be the next Chilliwack, possibly.
Well, look at even Prince George has gone up. I was there recently. We were looking out there as well, and just the market there is doing really well as well.
I was actually talking to a few Prince George realtors just yesterday, and they were even telling me, they go, Jeff, we're now getting crazy multiple offers here now.
There you go. Low inventory there as well. I was property shopping out there. But yeah. It's phenomenal. Just the growth over the past couple of years has been insane. Good things happening over there. Now, I won't take up too much more of your time. I just wanted to quickly touch on our interview we've been telling our listeners with Simon Berry, president of rew.ca. We had to actually reschedule it, unfortunately, but that's okay. We're actually going to be doing it next week. We're really looking forward to that and having him on this podcast. Unfortunately, we had to reschedule due to Jeff losing his voice at a movie premiere. And, it was unexpected, and we do apologize for that to Simon. But
it might have been a very quiet interview.
Yeah, so, we were debating on doing it or not, but, that's okay. I'm glad you feel better and you've gotten better, right? Is there any last pieces you wanted to add before we wrap this thing up here, Jeff, and I let you get back to doing what you're doing?
You know what? Not really, Rick. I mean, we have different topics all the time. I would really love some of our listeners actually to even give us a topic if they want to hear about something. If they want to hear about what might happen here, what might happen there. If you live in Chilliwack, you live in Prince George, and you want us to do a report about that, we'd love to.
Yeah, no, definitely, right? You guys are going to see more videos of me posting all over British Columbia as well, coming on this channel. As you guys saw, our recent video that should be launching on Friday, or even should be up by now, last week, Cornell, British Columbia. So we're going all over the place for you guys, all right? Risking my life as well, actually, doing that. One of the most dangerous places in British Columbia. And the Hastings video also coming up. I know I've been telling you guys about that as well, but it's coming, guys. It's all coming. Jeff, that's pretty much about it, buddy. I really appreciate you coming through, and we'll be back again with another amazing episode next week. Thanks to all the streaming platform listeners, Spotify, Google Music, Apple iTunes. We're coming soon. Like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, guys. And don't forget, if you're moving anywhere around British Columbia, give us a call. The number will be down below. I never stop working for you, all right? I never phrase that, all right? Jeff might be busy, but I got some time for you guys, all right? So,
but Rick, don't make it sound like I don't have time for people.
No, you're just joking, all right? I know you're busy. Okay, we're all busy, but I'm going to let you go, Jeff. Sorry for taking up too much of your time there, okay? And
no worries.
I'll see you in the office in a couple of days there, buddy.
All right, cheers. You have a good day. And bye to everybody, and look forward to your comments.
Yes, comment, like, and subscribe to this channel, guys. British Columbia Real Estate Podcast. We're out. See you later.
Bye.